Is happening, everyone? Welcome back to another potential realized athletic enterprise video. Doing a little something different tonight. What we're going to be doing is a little garage workout. I was at work all day today, at the facility in the morning, came home and had a few chores to do. So I am going to do a little bit of a arm and shoulder workout, push pull, something along those lines. But the main goal is just to kind of get some good movement in and have kind of an open forum and open discussion along the way. So just going to go ahead and get started, and then whoever joins, um, feel free to ask any questions, comments, concerns, emotional outbursts, whatever it is you guys have that you want to talk about. We can go ahead and get into it while the session is going on. So just going to go ahead and get into it, start warming up, and whoever pops in, pops in. So we'll see how it goes. Yes, I sip coffee sometimes during a workout. Coffee and water. And I have a little resistance band, so just gonna go ahead and go through my normal warm up. I've had quite a few shoulder injuries, inconsistencies with my physique over the years. So one of the most important parts for me about any movement session is getting warmed up properly. I really like using a resistance band instead of just classic static stretching. I don't really like to static stretch right before I lift. I like to kind of feel my muscles turn on and activate. So I like to do what's called pull aparts, focusing just on my scapula movement here, making sure that I feel like everything is working properly. The roommate that I have right now has a nifty little gym set up. So all we have is some simple stuff. We have some dumbbells, a couple plyometric boxes, some resistance bands, nothing really too crazy. So for anybody who's looking for kind of an at-home type of workout to go through, or anything with like simple or minimal equipment, this would be a really, really good workout to follow. It's just a little upper body session. We're not going to get into anything too crazy. Like I said, I spent most of the day at work today, so still pretty sore from yesterday's session. I did some larger compound movements. So we're just going to take today to focus on stuff that I don't really hit too often. I don't really focus on my arms too much. I'm kind of the opposite. I really enjoy working out my back and my legs, and my least favorite body part to work out is my arms. I don't know why. I just never really, having big arms was never something that appealed to me. To me, I did martial arts for a long time. Really am a big fan of boxing. So the bigger my arms got, the more I kind of slowed down, and it took me a long time to learn how to be efficient in my martial art with added muscle mass. So that was something that took me time to learn how to balance out, but been doing a pretty good job recently. So we'll go ahead and get into a little bit of an arm workout here. Just some overhead tricep extensions with the band, something to get the muscles kind of primed up, ready to work. And then some flies with the band as well. I really like resistance bands just because you can flow from one movement to the next movement really simply. And for anybody who's looking to kind of just get started, or if you've been out of practice for a long time, resistance bands are a really good way to give your muscles constant tension. When you use dumbbells have to work with gravity. Resistance bands will give you resistance in any direction. So it's a really good tool to use for Like I said, I really like them for warming up. So it's Saturday night. Most people are out. Most people are, hanging out, partying at the club with friends, whatever the case may be. Nothing against you if you're out there having fun and living your life, but constant progress for me has always been the way to go. I really enjoy I'm in a garage right now. It's dead silent, and I'm quite literally talking to myself. But this is fun for me. I like being alone and working on myself. It's kind of like I don't know if you've ever played music for the sake of playing music, or sat in a room and draw a picture or any type of artistic expression. You do it for the sake of the expression. And my working out is very much the same way. I like to do it just for it. The way that I like to explain it is, it's like having a good conversation. Anytime I get into a really good workout, I'm kind of just talking to my body. I'm having a good conversation with my body, and there's nothing I enjoy more than stimulating conversation. And I really enjoy the feedback and the back and forth that I get with my body during a workout. So some of my favorite stuff to do is honestly get into a quiet environment. It's nice and relaxing, and just focus on myself and building. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go ahead and start a little warm up here. Now that I used my resistance bands, I feel confident that everything is on and active. I have like a pair of 20-pound dumbbells here. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do some box push-ups and then some bent over rows. So just very, very simple. If you have a couch, if you have a chair, if you have a countertop, and you can't do full out push-ups yet, this is a really, really good way to get started learning how to do push-ups. Majority of the muscle fiber in your chest is going to be at the lower part, so almost like a decline bench press. So what we're going to look at doing here is just kind of activate the thickest part of our chest, going through some decline push-ups, and then we'll go straight to some rows. Now on these movements, I really like to go slow. I've always focused on slower eccentrics, which is the negative portion of the movement, or the way down. I always really like to go slow on the way down. It gives me a lot more connectivity with my body. And I like to, instead of thinking of pushing myself away from the box, I like to think of activating my chest so much that it lifts me up off that box. So I'm down here, and then I squeeze my chest so hard that it pushes me away. And that gives me a lot of good feeling in my chest. And I'll go right to my bent over rows with my dumbbell here. And I will hinge back, dumbbells in front of me, and I'm just going to follow the line of my thigh. Focusing on contracting the muscles that I'm trying to grow and feel and activate. And if you notice, I'm not going up and down. I'm kind of moving backwards along the same line of my thigh here. About 10 to 12 reps each. And then, anywhere from a 60-second to 90-second rest in between sets. And I like to start with compound movements first. I'll start with push-ups and rows, because these are compound movements. They use more than one muscle group at a time. And then after my compound movement, I'll get a little bit more into the isolation movements. It's just the way that I like to flow throughout my own workout. One of my favorite things about physical fitness is there's so many different avenues to it. You can bodybuild, you can power lift, you can do CrossFit, you can be a swimmer, a hiker, a marathon runner, you can ride bikes, you can do martial arts, you can climb rocks, you can do any number of things. You can really, like, there's any number of sports you can play. They're all different branches and avenues when it comes to physicality. There's no one right answer for everybody. There's no one size fits all. So I think that if you find yourself in your head talking about, fitness just isn't for me, there's just so many different avenues that, for me as a trainer, that's a very, very hard pill to swallow as an excuse as to why we don't like to start to kind of increase the ability we have to express ourselves with our physical form. And that's kind of ultimately what this is. The way that I look at it is, you were given one body and you want to be able to maximize the thing that carries you through life. This body is responsible for, if you want to sing, if you want to dance, write, draw, speak, listen, understand, if you want to do anything like that, you have to care for the thing that performs all of those operations. And so for me, being physically fit and taking care of yourself on a regular basis is one of the most fundamental aspects of, I suppose, just existing as a person at this point in time in this space. Again, the way that I always repeat this phrase to my clients: the better you are, the better everything you do gets. So it would be hard for me to figure out a way that that anything you do would suffer or become less effective if you became better. So the ultimate goal here with PR Athletic Enterprise is to help you understand how to increase your own capacity. That way, everything that you do in life, regardless of what it is increased in your ability to not only express yourself, but in order to perform at your maximum capacity. So that's what a lot of this stuff is, guys. There's even people on Instagram who I've seen say that if you have achieved a certain level of wealth or income and you are not physically fit, then you are not earning what you could be earning. This falls back on the concept of how you do one thing is how you do all things. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of the thing that's responsible for carrying us through life and ultimately performing all of the functions that we ask it to perform. So we'll go ahead and hop into the next set here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And then we'll go right to our rows, and we'll hit another 12 here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Woo! Starting to get nice and toasty in the garage. Feels good. What I'm going to do here now that I've gotten a little bit more warmed up is I'm going to take the 20s and I'm going to set them to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and up the weight here. And we're going to go ahead and use some 35s. So whenever I'm exercising or whenever I'm lifting, I will start slow and I'll start light, and I'll kind of, through the conversation with my body, as we get warmed up and as we start kind of going back and forth, I will increase the weight depending on the response that I get or my goal for that session. But very rarely do I jump right into the max weight that I lift. I actually don't think I ever do that anymore. That was something that I did when I was younger. But when I switched my focus from lifting hard and heavy to lifting hard and heavy intelligently, things kind of slowed down for me. So I take my time as I lift now, and I really like to, like I said, it's something that I enjoy doing. I really do enjoy the process of working out and lifting, and it to me is akin to just putting on some headphones and painting a picture. It's sculpting to me. I enjoy my body, and I have been at it for such a long time that it's not about looking good for other people. It's about feeling good for myself, and it's about taking the time to sculpt myself. It's working out for me has become so much of a meditative activity that it was really, really difficult for me to even start the YouTube channel, because I didn't know how to, and I mean, quite honestly, still don't know how to portray what it is that I'm actually doing. It's going deep inside and feeling your body, and taking the time to do a difficult thing, to put yourself in a place that, the way that I look at it, there's a certain amount of information at the surface layer life, and you only can start to get deeper information when you can. You only start to get deeper information when you put yourself in a place where things are difficult. When things are difficult for you, it requires a different level of operation. And it's necessary, in my opinion, to willingly go through difficult things. And exercise, working out, lifting has become one of my favorite difficult things to do. So, yeah, I'll just get into the next set, because again, it's really hard for me to explain it. It's really hard for me to explain that my goal is to feel rather than to just kind of get bigger and stronger. Getting bigger and stronger is a byproduct, but again, the ultimate goal here is just to kind of talk with my body and feel all of this stuff out. So we'll go ahead and get into the next set here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll go right to the rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Woo. Nice, good movement. Nice, good movement. My ring light shut off, and I don't know what happened. Let's see here. There we go. Hey, we got 3 people tuned in. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Appreciate you listening to me ramble and watch me lift weights in silence in the garage. If there's any questions you guys have, Feel free to shout them out. Open forum, open discussion. I've had a client tell me that back in the day he used to feel that doing difficult things was bad for him. He said that he would feel pain, or he would feel physical exertion, and he would think that I'm doing something bad to myself. I'm doing something wrong here. Like I shouldn't feel this way. This is negative. And it wasn't, he said, until we started working together that seeing the results of doing something difficult, he didn't realize that the difficult places is where you extrapolate all the good information from. That's where you are supposed to grow, or that's where you go to grow, rather. And it's funny because I've watched a lot of people go through life and face difficult things over and over and over, and gain a lot of knowledge and information and experience. And instead of focusing on what they've gained from the event that they went through, they focus on how bad it hurt them. And if I thought about how bad it hurts to be sore, or how difficult it was to be trapped under heavy weight, or anything like that, then it would be a lot harder to go to the gym. I completely admit it, because there are days that are extremely difficult, especially when you have goals and there's places that you're trying to get to. But instead, I know that on the other side of those difficult gym sessions are growth and understanding and control and patience and perseverance and discipline and all these other type of things. I get to the gym helps me really feel like I'm becoming the person that I see in my mind, because the person that I see in my mind is disciplined, is motivated, is consistent, persistent, and willing to do difficult things, because that person understands that without difficulty, there is no growth. Without willingly involving yourself in something difficult, there is no growth. You're simply a byproduct of the things that, quote unquote, happen to you in life, which are really the results of our own actions or inactions. But again, we like to avoid taking responsibility, because that in and of itself is a difficult thing. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and hop into my next set. And in order to increase the difficulty of my push-up, I don't really have any weight to add. So I'm going to take my resistance band, I'm going to wrap it around my back here, and I'm going to go ahead and utilize that to give me a little bit more resistance for my push-up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh. I love the process of growing under your own control. So one of the biggest reasons why I started falling in love with the gym is I had jobs at a very young age. So I was working at 14, 15, 16, and I was hot-headed and eager to be successful. I was very ready to, I suppose, prove to the world who I was. And I went out into the workforce and felt like I was constantly running into obstacles. It felt like my progress was always under somebody else's control. And I hated that. I couldn't stand that if I started working at this place and I knew that I wanted to get to this position, that even if I did all of the things that they told me I needed to do to get there, I still wasn't there, and I didn't understand why. I didn't understand why I was taught at a young age that if you work hard, it will become reward, or it will be rewarded. And then I was working hard and it almost felt like I was being held back because of it. And I didn't understand why. And so I went to the gym and I realized that in the gym, if I wanted to put 315 pounds on the bench press and attempt it, I could. No one would stop me. I mean, I would fail miserably. But the point was that I had the freedom to do it. I had the freedom to try. If I started working at a company and I said, hey, I want to be CEO, there's like, no, you have to go through this whole process. You have to learn how to do it. You have to learn step by step, this thing and this thing and this thing. I didn't like that my progress was up to them and their system. So I decided to go to the gym where I could try anything and do anything, and my progress was ultimately completely up to me. I loved the fact that I could try anything. I loved the fact that I could do anything with my body. I loved the fact that I could take it in any direction that I wanted to. If I wanted to have a strong chest, I could focus only on my chest. Arms could be arms. If I wanted to learn how to deadlift as good as I can, I could do that. Anything that I wanted to do, it was completely under my control. And that's one of the very first reasons that I started to go to the gym almost religiously, was because that was the place where I was making progress on my own accord. How much progress I made or didn't make was completely up to me at that point. And I loved that responsibility, I suppose. And so I started to use my body in that process of going to the gym and building myself as a way to kind of work through my younger years. That for me, my younger years were a lot of like trial and error. It was failing and failing and failing and failing and trying to do all of these things that I thought I was really good at, and getting proved over and over and over again that I wasn't at all what I thought that I was. And that happened to me so much. And so I really fell in love with the gym because that was where I could be whatever it is that I wanted to be. And my progress was completely up to me. So it was a really, really, really fun place to be. That was, again, one of the first things that really got me hooked on the gym. So if you guys think about it that way, the gym is where you get to do what you want to do. No one's going to tell you what part of your body you can work out. No one's going to tell you that you can't be a powerlifter, you can't do this, or you can't do that. And if they do try to tell you that, you should tell them to go fly a kite, because physical activity is any part of this realm, and as far as your body is concerned, you can grow it and adapt it to any activity. And you shouldn't ever let anyone tell you that you don't have the opportunity to enjoy that activity. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and switch exercises now. I'm going to go back to the 20s, and I'm just going to do some good old-fashioned bicep curls. So I actually have a mirror right in front of me. So I'm going to face the mirror. Now I like to bring my elbow out in front of my body as I go through this curl. I like to really squeeze as hard as I can at the very top. 5. I like to use weight that I can control. 6. I don't want to be swinging the dumbbells back and forth. 7. And I give myself a good squeeze at the top. And then as much as I can, try to control the descent. 12 per side. Now I'm going to go ahead and get right to some overhead tricep extensions. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now I'm doing what's called supersetting here. Supersetting is doing one exercise right after the other. Compound setting is where you do 2 exercises of the same muscle group. So for example, if I did bench press and then push-ups right after, but what I'm doing here are bicep curls and overhead tricep extensions. So I'm doing those 2 exercises back to back. So since those are opposing muscle groups, it is supersetting instead of compound setting. Compounding is same muscle group. So I like to do the supersetting. Opposing muscle groups, pushing and pulling, biceps, triceps, chest and back. I like the balance it gives me. I like the feeling that it gives me. It gives me a little bit more of a full feeling. I like feeling symmetrical from the front side to the back side. I don't like feeling like my chest is really, really big and my back is really weak, or like my back is overly developed and my chest is really small. So I try to find a nice balance. As I've grown, I started very, very skinny, 145, 150 pounds at about 6'2". Right now I am 6'2", 180 pounds at about 4% body fat, somewhere around there. And throughout the growth process, going from 145 to 180 over the last, however many years, 7, 8 years, I've found that building in a balanced manner is what my body responded to best, and it's what gave me the best results as far as overall development and mind to muscle connection. The mind to muscle connection is what I like the most. I'm not trying to get as big as I can get. My goal is to simply create the most artistic sculpture I can create, I suppose. And again, give myself the best ability to express myself as I continue on in life. So having a healthy and strong and functional body is one of the best ways that I know how to do that. So we'll go ahead and get into the next set here. One, 2, 3, 4, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 11. Ooh, 12 per side. Shake out the burn a bit. Ooh. Then we'll go ahead and move right on to the tricep extensions. Ooh. My left arm is always a bit weaker than my right arm. Naturally, you'll have a strong side and a weak side. That's one of my favorite parts about working out is when I started lifting, I felt the imbalance. I felt my right side was very, very dominant. And what I noticed is if I wasn't focused on building myself evenly, my right side way took over and my left side way atrophied. So my favorite part about exercising is kind of drawing an imaginary line right down my center and trying to make the functionality, the definition, and the mass equal to my dominant side. So I like to use a lot of dumbbells. I like to do a lot of unilateral work, which means one side at a time. So like single leg squats and things of that nature, or if I'm doing a dumbbell press or anything like that, it'll be, dumbbells allow the hands to operate evenly, independently, instead of holding onto one bar and allowing one side to be able to be the driver. So I like to do a lot of dumbbell work and unilateral work. That way I can correct any asymmetries or just really focus on making sure that my left side is equal to my right side in strength and functionality. So again, as I focus on building balance from front to back, I'm also focusing on building balance from left to right. So again, guys, this isn't really an exercise for me, lifting isn't about ego or anything like that. Lifting is so much about your sculpting process. It's about your connection with your body, your ability to know how your body moves through space and time. And working out is one of the best ways that I have discovered. Working out in martial arts and like regular athletic practice really helps me learn how to use my body in all different areas. It just helps me articulate a lot more. If my body is healthy and functional, everything else I do gets better. Kind of like if you're hungry and you haven't eaten for a long time, you start to get cranky and angry. Any conversation that you have isn't really going to be very productive because you're in a bad state of mind. That's very much how I feel about my body. If I don't work out for a month, and if I'm not focused on eating good foods and taking care of myself, then I really feel a huge dip in my mood, my drive, my just overall ability to function is severely deteriorates whenever I'm not staying on top of my own health and wellness routine. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I stay on top of it as much as I do. Because again, as a trainer and as a coach, I'm responsible for a lot of other people. So I also like to lead by example. I like to make sure that my people know that anything I ask you to do, I also do or have done and would gladly do side by side with you. I really despise the trainers who just sit there on their phone and, watch you do your exercise and all this other type of stuff. I will go as far as doing your workout with you side by side. I will plan to work out with you just so you know that I'm willing to do everything that you're doing, and we can go through it together. So that's one of the big parts about this as well, is the camaraderie and the ability to look to others that have traveled the difficult path ahead of you. So instead of looking at them and despising them for doing something that you haven't done, you can look to them for the knowledge and guidance in order to get to where it is that you hope to go. I'll do one more set here. One more set of curls and then tricep extensions. And I'll go ahead and do these ones facing the camera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ooh, those ones burn. Ooh. All right, shake it out and we'll get right to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Woo! Good little burn. Nice little arm burn. Oh. One person, hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you guys can extrapolate at least a little bit of information here. Sometimes when you're in the middle of a workout, it's hard to form a cohesive thought. A lot of times where I'll be trying to talk to my clients in the middle of a session and they'll start talking and they're like, hold on, give me a second, let me compose my thoughts. So I know some of this probably comes out as repetitive and rambling, but for those of you who take the time to see it through and listen to me rant and ramble, hopefully there's a little bit of information in here as far as motivation, inspiration, or even, technical, technical information as far as, exercise movements and form and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put these back. Now, I did a compound movement for my push and for my pull. I did some bicep curls and some tricep extensions. And now I'm gonna go ahead and get into some shoulder movements. Now with shoulders, I like to go very, very light, but high rep. So I have just a pair of little 10 pounds here. And I'm gonna go through some shoulder movements that I really like. Some of the shoulder movements that I enjoy: front raises, lateral raises, and then bent over rear delt raises. So we're just gonna go ahead and go through those today. So front raises, pretty simple. I think of lifting from the elbow. So if someone was pressing my elbow down, I think of lifting that way. I don't think of lifting from the hand. Think of lifting with the elbow. I keep a slight bend and just lift to about nose or chin level. 2. 10. And 12. And now out to the side. I start with the dumbbells in front. I hinge forward a bit, and I'll lift to the side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Oh. So I like to pair my front and side, and then I do my rear raises separately. No real method to that madness. Just kind of how I like to break it down. I like the rhythm of front and then side, or front all and then side all, and then I'll switch over to do some rear delts afterwards. Little sessions like this are fun. I mean, there's lifting with a purpose. There's lifting for, you know, if you have a show coming up, or if you have a tournament, or if you have, you know, some type of race or something like that, marathon training. You can always, you know, train with the direction. But it's also fun just to, you know, like if you're in a band and you just meet up with your friends and have a jam session just to kind of enjoy playing music. This is very much the same way. I'm focusing on using weight that is enough to stimulate growth, but not so much that I'm really exhausting myself, and not so light that I'm kind of just playing and tossing stuff around. I do have, you know, a fair amount of blood in the muscles right now. It's a good amount of tension and response in the body. So we're lifting with enough weight and a high enough repetition to still have an effect on the body, but not so heavy or so light that it becomes, you know, something not necessarily fun. I like fun lifting sessions where you enjoy sculpting your body. Sometimes difficult sessions are very, very fun, but they can also be very daunting. So knowing that you're going into the gym to improve yourself, but to not kill yourself, really, really good way to kind of start, especially if you've been out of practice for a while. Just go in there to kind of have fun and learn your body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, and 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, and 15. Woo! Definitely feeling the burn. The last video that I did got quite a response, so I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who took the time to like the video, share their thoughts, create a back and forth dialogue. I really, really appreciate that. It seems like that the concept and the video kind of really resonated with everybody. So what I'm trying to do is go through my own personal history and experience and try to pull out a little bit more of the opportunities where I guess I really had a good look at myself and where I really came to work through a situation that helped me get to where I am today. So what I'm trying to do is go through my memory and my history and retrace my steps, so to speak, to kind of pull out the different events that I went through and that happened to me, that I got to experience, I should say, that led me to this point here. I've gone through a lot of things that have really were very eye-opening, I suppose, and my goal is to really try to look back and pull all of those situations out and share them with all of you. In the meantime, I'd like to continue to provide helpful and useful workout information. So I'm really trying to find out how to do a good mix of all of that. I have a very full clientele book. So I work with quite a few people in person and online doing virtual sessions. So trying to balance, helping others grow and, work through their process, as well as growing and working through my own process, and then trying to add, Instagram and social media and filming and all of that type of stuff into the equation. The more my path evolves, the more I realize the level that I need to get to in order to sustain all of this and give everybody exactly what it is that they need in order to help them get to where they're trying to go. So I appreciate everybody's support, and I really, really do take the time to read all of your comments, and I try to respond to all of the ones that I feel would create a good dialogue and that others would benefit from if they read as well. So again, guys, thank you so much for your involvement, your engagement. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, for taking the time to watch the videos and like these and share them with your friends. It really means a lot. I never would have thought that little old me would be doing anything like this, or really be put in a position to take what I've experienced and present it to others to benefit from. So this is a very new and strange process for me. So I appreciate everybody's patience in, working with me while I figure out what exactly this is. I want to continue to provide the right information, but I suppose I'm just looking to find the balance right now between sitting and talking at you guys versus showing exercises and workout information versus motivation and me kind of going through my own workouts with you guys. So still trying to find a balance, and as the channel grows, I'm hoping that a lot of you all, the viewers and subscribers, will help provide the direction. Let me know exactly what it is that you want that will help you get to where you're trying to go, and we'll try to move in that direction. So next set, back to work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Ooh, that believe that was 3 sets. So we'll take a little breather and then we'll do some bent overs for the back of the shoulder. Now the front raises are for the front cap, your front deltoid. The side raises are for the round part, the side muscle of your shoulder. And then the rear ones are going to be for the rear muscles, or the muscles in the back of your shoulder. So I like to hit very lighter weight, higher reps after a main compound movement. So if I'm looking at, on a shoulder day, maybe my main compound movement will be dumbbell shoulder press or standing military press, and then I'll move into this type of accessory work. So really just try to keep it varied and keep it as simple as possible. My workouts usually only consist of a few movements. I am a big believer in the theory of doing a few things really well rather than doing a whole bunch of things, halfway or without proper execution. So I like to pick, my workouts will consist of maybe 3 to 6 movements at the most, 6 movements at the very most, 3 movements at the least. And I'll just maximize those movements. My workouts usually go anywhere from 30 minutes to, upwards of an hour and 10, maybe an hour and 20 minutes, depending on how much time I'm taking in between my sets. If I lift a little bit heavier, I'll take a little bit longer in between my sets to rest. If I'm lifting a little bit lighter, less time in between. So that's just my method through a bunch of years, almost I would say 15 years now of working out. I've kind of found my own flow and my own rhythm. What I've noticed with a lot of people who first start working out, they give up or they quit the process before they have time to figure out what their rhythm is and their method. In any activity that we engage ourselves in or we engage with, we have our own unique way of flowing through that activity, and it takes us a lot of time to figure out our method and our rhythm and the way that we like to flow through said activity. So if for example, if you start working out and your workout time is 7 a.m. and you show up at the gym 3 days a week at 7 a.m. with your trainer, and then after a month you're like, okay, you know what, man, this just isn't for me, I'm gonna stop. Don't stop before you try to work out at 2 p.m. instead of 7 a.m. or maybe try 5 or 6 p.m. instead of 7 a.m. Alter the way that you're executing the activity before you give up the activity. It's extremely important. In anything that you're going to do, give it time to fit with you, to click with you. A lot of my clients don't make real results until they find a rhythm in their daily life. Some of my clients have a really hard time eating breakfast, and so we figure out how to work around it. Some of my clients have really long shifts and they don't have the ability to necessarily eat full meals throughout the day, so we have to figure out a way to work around it. There's always a workaround, or there's a different way to do something. So really try to not give up before you give yourself the opportunity to walk through different options and different scenarios and try to find your own personal rhythm. So I'm going to go ahead, and with that being said, I'm going to get into my rear delt movements here. So I'm just using the same 10 pounds. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hinge over at the hips. I'm going to get all the way down. I'm going to try to move in a straight line with my arm straight out to the side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Woo! That one got me all flushed. Oh, really starting to feel the burn now towards the end of the workout. Feels good. Shout out to everybody watching. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate the support. Just doing a very simple at-home workout in the garage, guys. Really simple. 20, few dumbbells, resistance band, and a box. That's really all I have. So it doesn't take much to get a good workout in. It's all about how you perform the movements and your intention when you decide to exercise or work out. That's what's most important to me, is your intent. And I suppose your focus and your intensity could go hand in hand. It doesn't take much at all. It takes the will to do it. That's really what it takes. If you have the floor, then you have what you need in order to work out. You really do. You can do push-ups and squats and sit-ups and all types of stuff just using the floor. And I mean, if you have a wall, that's even better. Now you got 2 planes you can work on. Watch out now. Then you're going to become something dangerous. So it really, guys, it's not difficult at all to get a good workout in. I really do not like hearing excuses about I can't do this and I can't do that and I need this but I don't have this and I would if only. That stuff falls apart as soon as we realize that I just need to get up and simply do some squats. If you're watching this right now, prove to yourself that you have the discipline to start working out by just simply getting up and showing yourself how easy it is and doing 10 air squats and 10 push-ups. If you can do that, then you can slowly show yourself how to build on just those 2 movements, and now you're off and running. It doesn't require a gym membership. It doesn't require a bunch of fancy weights. You don't have to go anywhere or purchase anything. All you need is simply the desire, the drive, and the willpower to better yourself. And that's a lot of what all this boils down to, is how badly do you want to change? If you want to change bad enough, you're going to look around and you're going to figure out a way to make it work. If you want to remain the same bad enough, you could be in a position where everything is set up for your success and you're going to find a way to nitpick at it, or you're going to find a way to make it wrong. And that's what I've noticed from my own personal experience. When I was driven, I found a way, even if there was no way. And I'm not even joking. If all options were cut off for me, I would pull something out of thin air because I needed it to happen. And if I convinced myself that I wanted anything but that, then I would find every possible excuse to not do the thing that I knew I needed to do. So it's just a matter of willpower, is what I ultimately figured out with myself. When I really, really, really wanted it to do it, regardless of whether there was a clear path or not, I made it happen. So if you guys really, really, really want to change and you really, really, really want to get fit, you will take it upon yourself to take the necessary steps and eliminate all excuses. We'll start to find solutions to problems instead of problems for solutions. So that's important to understand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The back of my shoulders, my rear deltoids, are always were one of my weaker body parts. So I spent a long time trying to develop those. It's still one of the movements that's a little bit more difficult for me, but I enjoy digging down on the things that I don't know how to do. It's really fun for me to do difficult things, things that I'm bad at, things that make me feel like I look stupid doing it, things that make me feel like people are looking at me and laughing at me. I like doing things like that because I know that if I feel those feelings, I'm in a place I've never been before. I'm in a place where I have no confidence or no skills. And that means that if I'm in that place, then I'm in an area of learning. And so what I've really started to do is um, appreciate and kind of lean into and rush into the areas that make me feel awkward, that make my palms sweat and give me butterflies in my stomach, that make me second guess myself or question myself. I love areas like that because that's when I know I'm growing. If I look around and I'm good at everything that I'm doing, I kind of feel like there's a problem. I feel like I'm not in a position where I can grow. So I think that comes from me studying and training and looking back on my life and knowing that the difficult situations that I went through gave me the skills that I needed to face difficult situations in the future. And anytime I felt weird or stupid or awkward in the past, it really helped me grow. Um, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Um, so I really like, just going back to my rear deltoids or problem area. Anytime I find a problem area, I don't stay away from it. I really like to dig down and work there. And it's not necessarily focusing on your weakest part. It's having fun developing yourself into a total unit rather than, hyper focusing on the things that you're only good at and only the things that you know, or the inverse of that, which is hyper focusing only on the things that you think you're not good at. I think both can be detrimental. So what I like to do is I like to happily and with joy and kind of grateful for the opportunity to look at areas where I could develop myself further in order to bring out my total potential. So that's one of the ways that I kind of like to use working out to teach me how to operate in life. If I'm in the gym and I realize, oh, there's a body part that if I worked on, everything else would get better, then I would start to think to myself, wait a second, what area in my day-to-day life, if I improved, would everything else get better as well? So I started to kind of connect dots between what I was doing in the gym and what happened to me outside of the gym. And the more that I worked out, the more of those dots showed up and the more of the dots I connected. So it's been a very, very unique process for me. And that's kind of, I guess, one of the reasons why I started the channel is because I wanted to help give a different perspective on the process of working out. For me, it was never about getting bigger or being bigger or stronger than the guy next to me or my fellow man. It was about me putting myself through something difficult in order to kind of see what I was made of. And then through that process, I fell in love with the art of it. And I suppose the artistic aspect of it is what I spend the most time involved with to this day. I mean, if you ask a sculptor or a painter or a dancer how their art matches up with life, they'll show you all these similarities. And so I think as a martial artist and as somebody who spent a lot of time mentally and physically developing myself, I found the art in it. And I suppose that's what I wanted to share with all of you is it doesn't have to be this daunting, like I hate myself and everyone says I should do this, but I don't know why I don't feel like doing it. I can tell you how many clients I've had where I ask them, what's your motivation for working out? And they go, I don't have any motivation to work out. I just know that going to the gym is a good thing that you're supposed to do. So I'm at the gym. And for the life of me, I could never understand not wanting to take the time to develop yourself in the way that you want to operate. So that's what I'm sharing with you all is hopefully cultivating the desire to develop yourself into the type of person that you want to be, and then kind of helping you give or showing you a little bit of a path in order to get started doing that. We'll go ahead and move on to the final set here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Woo! All finished. All done. Ooh, that one was a burner. So again, guys, just a nice light little workout today. Just hanging out in the garage. It was Saturday evening, nothing going on. Did my chores, spent the day at work. Figured I would go ahead and get a little arm and shoulder workout in as I chatted with you guys, or I guess at you guys would be more appropriate. I didn't know there was a new Hendo Self-Made. I had no idea. I'll have to ask around about it. I didn't know that there was a new one popping up. I don't have any plans to be at any other Self-Made. I will continue to operate where I've been operating thus far. Thank you so much for the question. I appreciate you. And you're more than welcome to come visit me whenever. And if there is a Henderson location, then I will go ahead and check it out. Sunset Green Valley. Oh, what's up, B? I didn't know there was. I didn't know they were gonna open another one out there. But yeah, if they do, I'll have to go check it out for sure. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. If there are any questions, comments, concerns, if anybody wants me to make a separate video about anything that I talked about or covered tonight, you can go ahead and drop that in the comment section below. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any information that will help you reach your potential. Please thumbs up the video if you liked it. If you got any type of information out of it, that would definitely help out. And again, guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much. The channel has grown quite a bit over the last, 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so. So I'm really focused on trying to upload more content for everybody. Again, I'm still trying to find the flow and the voice of the channel. So we'll go ahead and continue to work at it, and we'll see which videos get the best responses, and we'll try to kind of flow and follow that direction. So once again, guys, thank you so much for being a part of this process. I'm unbelievably grateful for all of the support and feedback. It's been really amazing just to kind of watch all of this happen and unfold. So I'm really just enjoying the day-to-day process of it all. So thank you guys so much. Shout out to my new clients. Hello, hello. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you. One of you I will see you tomorrow, and the other one I'll see you next week. So thank you guys so much for reaching out. I didn't ever think that the YouTube channel would be I suppose like a source of obtaining new clients, but this has been, like I said, it's been really, really cool just to watch all this happen and to see how it all unfolds. And I like to be open-minded and stay open to whatever this turns into. So once again, guys, thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and get some food in me and hop in the shower and get ready for an early morning tomorrow. And I hope to upload another video this week. Thank you guys so much, Coach. I appreciate you. I hope to see you soon, man. I hope everything is well. Thank you guys so much. You enjoy your evening.